What is up, YouTube? It's your boy PaulMerization, guys. You know what you do. Guys, I'm going to go into this video. I think one thing I've learned from a lot of judging and going to events to make people better is a lot of people don't understand punctuation. I think punctuation is a big thing in Yu-Gi-Oh! That a lot of duelists and a lot of people don't understand. So I'm going to go straight into it, guys. Punctuation has a lot going with it. You also have it where it's the problem solving card text, or PSCT for short. A lot of people don't understand that there's a lot to this that can make your gameplay a lot better. The biggest things you have is your period, a colon, and a semicolon. I'm going to break down each one of these so to help you understand and hopefully make you a better duelist and how to play the game. First, we're going to start with a period. A period is probably the least one you'll never have to worry about. Probably not the most important one, and you never have to worry about in the whole game. A period just shows what point an effect ends. That's all it does. It's pretty short and simple. But I'll give you an example. Let's look at Regeki. Regeki says destroy all monsters your opponent controls, period. That's it. There's no requirements, nothing you have to do. It just literally do what the card says. Plain and simple. I don't think I really got to go into that too much, but that's all it does. Now a colon is a whole lot different. A colon is a conjunction. A conjunction is more or less saying what needs to happen before something can actually occur. What must be true before an effect can activate, which I just explained more or less. Also, how often or when an effect can be activated. So let's go more into detail and go into an example of how a colon works. I'm going to use an old favorite of mine is Marauding Captain. Marauding Captain, I'm going to read his full text. Your opponent cannot target face-up monsters, warrior type, monsters for attacks, comma, except this one, period. First, we'll go back into the period part. That just states one full thing. That's it. The second part is what we're going to focus on. When this card is normal summon, colon, you can special summon one level 4 or lower monster from your hand. So when this card is normal summon, that is the colon, which is the condition that must be met before you can special summon a level 4 or lower monster from your hand, which is the effect. So like I said, when the card is normal summon, that is the condition, colon, and then afterwards is the effect. Pretty straightforward. Nothing too hard. Just remember, a colon always is the start of activation, which we'll get into that later on. Now, a colon also equals this effect starts a chain. Anytime you see a colon, it actually starts a chain, or it's an activation. Things don't always start a chain. Just putting that out there. The activation of any spell and trap card, that starts an activation as well. Doesn't mean it starts a chain, but it is an activation. Monster effects that use a colon in text is also what starts a chain with that colon. Now, this is where I was saying not things that always start a chain. Activating the effect of a face-up spell and trap if that spell and trap has a colon in the text. So what that means is if a card is face-up on the field and it has a colon, doesn't mean it's always going to start a chain. It's there when you want to activate it. So I'm taking an example as Wave Motion Cannon. We all know Wave Motion Cannon is during your main phase, it's an activation. So you don't have to start it right away. As a good example that it don't always start a chain. Now we're going to semicolons. Now this one gets a lot of people a lot of times. I feel like more than anything is semicolons. So let's break it down. A semicolon separates things you do at activation from things you do at resolution. So to put it in brief terms down at the bottom, we got activation, semicolon, resolution. Alright, so let's break that down a little bit. Costs don't always mean effect. Just because you activate a cost does not mean the effect's going to go through. And that's another thing with semicolons. Semicolons represent cost. You always got to remember that. Costs are paid at activation. You have to pay the cost before you activate the card. We'll go into that and I'll show you a little bit later. Costs cannot be undone either. There is no card in Yu-Gi-Oh! That can negate cost. Cost has to be done. It is a mandatory thing for any activation to happen. You must pay cost. Let's look at Lightning Vortex. Alright, Lightning Vortex, very simple. Take it easy. It says, discard one card, semicolon, which is the cost or condition that must be met before you can activate this card. Just like colons, a semicolon starts a chain. But in a semicolon, you have to, in this instance, discard one card. Now, if it didn't say discard one card, there's cards that say that has to target, and with semicolon, that also is a cost or condition. Then, after you paid your cost by discarding, you destroy all face-up monsters your opponent controls. That is the effect. So once the discard has happened, there has been no response from your opponent, you destroy all face-up monsters your opponent controls. That is the effect. Now, there's a lot more in problem-solving context that I will go into later. There's a lot of new vocabulary a lot of people don't understand. There's also some conjunctions and functions in it that a lot of people don't understand more than anything. I will go into that later on in another video, but I hope this, guys, will help you understand a little bit about punctuation. Punctuation is a huge thing more than anything. If you have any problems or any questions, guys, please comment down below. I'll gladly help anybody that needs help. Don't forget, if you're into fellow material, guys, to smash the subscribe button, guys. Be one of fellow materials, and I'll catch you on the next one. Love you, guys.